Hello and welcome to Data Science demo. This demo is dedicated to DSAR feature included in the Data Science Security Suite. So the GDPR and CCPA security standards obligate the subjects to provide access to all PI information stored in corporate databases. So Data Science created this feature to simplify access to the PI identifiable in the corporate databases. And usually, the access to this information, to the personal related information in the databases, is made by lawyers or by database operators who have such tools to access this information. So Data Science, again, with DSAR, Data Science provides you with a tool to search for specific PI data. So Data Science provides you with a data discovery feature and a DSAR feature. And in the first part of this demo, we'll see how to use this feature for a typical scenario when we know the full name of the person and a person's address. And we'll try to extract everything related to this person from the corporate databases. And the second part of this demo will be dedicated to how to configure this feature in step-by-step manner. Okay, let's start from the DSAR feature demo. So again, if you are a corporate lawyer or if you are a database operator and you probably have a task to extract all persons related information, and you have the name of this person maybe and some extra information, for example a phone number or the person's address, but you don't know the structure of your corporate databases. You even don't have maybe an idea how to extract this information from your corporate databases. Well, again, Data Science simplifies you this task. So your Data Science security operator, database administrator might provide you access to this specific menu item called data discovery, and the second item here is required for you is a DSAR. So this menu item is a feature that targets that issue to identify PI data in the database instances. So let's go to the pre-created task, which this is like a task or configuration to identify the personal related information. And I've created here two items called full name and address. So when we see inside of each of them, we'll see that it's connected to specific types of attributes. So it's not connected to any column, maybe, or any schema or something like that. So we work with attributes, with some type of data, in other words. So in this example, I've selected full name and last name as probably two articles or two parameters, right, to search for. And the second one is address. This is everything that I know. So I know only the full address line that might be encoded in some column in the database. And I even don't know the name of the database. I don't know any extra information, only the full name and the address line. So this is what I have from as information about the person. The person's name is Rick King, and his address line is this one. So I first will copy this information and we'll try to start search and put the full name at the first window, and I copy and paste the address line in the second box. So I've pasted the Rick name as a full name and the address line here. So now I can start search. Additionally, I'd like to have a report. The report will include names of columns, maybe extracted from the database. So the database administrator will see how to extract this information further, right? Maybe, or the person related information will be extracted from the tables, and we'll see the name of these tables and columns. let's start the search with when I start, click start. Will take some time. So Data Sunrise already is pre-configured to search for personal information, but now we've supplied specific data connected to a specific person. Now we see here the result is this row, right? And we see the success with results. Data found successfully, the full name and addresses both are identified. Now, when we click the Show Found Data, Data Sunrise will provide us with the results set. And one of them is detected in the table called Sales Public Schema and Discovery database. So we see in Sales table, we identify the delivery address is connected to this address. And there's personal phone contact number and the order sum. So we didn't supply this information, but we identified this information in connection to that specific address in context of the person we've supplied. So if we click this drop-down list, then we see the persons table, the same schema, public, in the same database discovery. So it means the Data Sunrise detected that these two items, these two tables are related, so they have a relationship between them. And we also detected the name of this person as Rick King. Now we can see that these two tables, they both contain some information about the subject, right, this person, right, that we are looking for. What else we can do? We can download the report, since we've configured to create a PDF report. We can print this report, we can send this report to the third parties who require this information. And now we see what was found here on this report. So we see the column values here, right? Search, right? And the name, person name is found. And any other additional information found connected to this person is found as well. So this way, we can use Data Sunrise DSAR feature to easily find any information connected to a person or address line. So if we need to reconfigure this feature, we can go back. We can create new fields, or we can reduce this field, so by reconfiguring this information to search for other attributes, like maybe not only names, but maybe email address and some other information like IBAN, right? International bank account number or something like that. So this way, we can easily identify PI data and extract this data from the database instance protected by Data Sunrise. Okay, now let's talk about how to configure the DSAR feature in Data Sunrise. So more information on how to configure DSAR for database administrators and Data Sunrise administrators can be found in documentation and user guide. So I've opened this user guide, and in order to search for DSAR feature, I press Ctrl F and DSAR. So I open this section, so we see that DSAR is a section dedicated to this feature. So it explains how to utilize this functionality, and it tells you that it's required to create a periodic data discovery task, actually, right? And the DSAR feature will use the result of the periodic data discovery task as an entry point to search for a specific information, right? So because the periodic data discovery can help us to identify the metadata connected to attributes like personal names, maybe, or bank accounts, credit card numbers, addresses, and so on. But in turn, the DSAR feature can help us to extract specific information with specific values from the database instance. Now, let's look at side of the data discovery. This is the step number 1 to configure the DSAR feature. Periodic data discovery is a set of periodic tasks. So the number of such a task is unlimited, but each DSAR item that will configure each configuration will be connected to the single periodic task connected to the search on periodic sensitive data discovery. So I've already created such a periodic task, and we see that the search parameters include a specific database instance and a specific strategy. So more information you can find in the sensitive data discovery section of the user guide. So there is a link, periodic data discovery, so you can follow the link and open it and find more information on that periodic data discovery. Additionally, you can exclude some objects if you don't want to include them, or if you know that some of them are, for example, primary keys, not person IDs, and so on. And what is more important, that what security standards should be used. As, for example, GDPR regulatory requirements and the CCPA, that stands for California standard, in my case, will be included in this periodic data discovery. It means this periodic task will help me to identify person-related information, in other words, a PI. So this task is configured to run manually. So I can start it. It can take some seconds to execute, go across all databases in my database instance. So last time it took 21 seconds. Hopefully it will take less time. This run. And now it's finished. Okay, 23 seconds is occupied. Okay. What is more important? We can also control what actually is included in the result. So we can click show, and we can find here what actually is information is detected, right? Like names, right? It means that some person's names are detected, addresses detected. And actually, a lot of information about every database. We don't need to search specific values here, or specific attributes, but if we identified, let's say, addresses and names, then it means that another user of data sunrise, like a lawyer or a database operator, who will use our DSAR feature, then we'll be able to identify this information with particular values. Okay, so this is connected to the periodic data discovery. What is more important, if we are going to search for PI data in the connected tables, then we need to be sure that we have relationships detected by data sunrise. Relationships between tables detected by data sunrise we can find on the table relationships of the configuration menu item. So let's look inside and check one of the items. This is my database instance, and data sunrise already detected some of the relationships. We can see the number of them, references, and this is like a model of relationships between tables. And these are tables included in these relationships. So we also can click diagram, and we can also see that our discovery database, public scheme and sales is connected to persons. So whoever will try to search persons and any sales related information, they will see this information connected somehow, right? So now let's configure the DSAR configuration specifically to be used by another users of Data Sunrise. So we'll go to the data discovery and DSAR. So here we're going to add a new configuration, and this configuration will use our sensitive data discovery task and table relationships that we have looked at, and we also will supply two attributes which we'll use in the future. Like one of them will be the name of the person and address. So that's why I call them name and address. So I will choose discover PI, since I configured that, to discover sensitive information and sensitive metadata from the database instance. Now I'm going to add a new field here, and that's correct. Name. I will use last name, first name, and let's say middle name that could appear in any table. So I call it this way as a name. And the next one, I'm going to add a new field called address. So address will be here, yeah. Let's add it. Now, when I'll finish, I'm going to add this as a new configuration. So now we have prepared a new configuration that will include names and addresses, right? Which Data Sunrise is ready to search across all databases, all schemas and tables and columns which appear as a result in the sensitive data discovery we have configured as a Discover API. So let's imagine that our lawyer or database operator approaches us and asks, please help me to identify all personal related information to that specific person. So you can invite him, please use this configuration I've created. Okay, and the user will come to Data Sunrise, will enter this particular configuration, and we'll start the search. All right, let's create a PDF as a result of this process. Let's provide information. Our name, the name of the person we're looking for is here, and name, edit box, and address line is here. So we are going to search for that particular information. So it can take some time, but usually it takes some seconds depending on the number of columns involved. So now we have the result and how to interpret this result. So one of them is to show found data, and the second step inside of this menu item is to download the report. So also we can show the table relationships, but we already have seen that we have several relationships between tables in our database instance. Let's click Show Found Data. So we see that the address line appeared here. This is actually delivery address as a column detected by Data Sunrise as a sensitive data. And we see here the contact phone number. In this particular table, we don't see any names, first name, last name, full name of the person. But the reason is why, because there's a relationship between the persons and sales tables. That's why when we click this drop-down list and choose persons table, we can find the full name of the person in the related table. This way we can identify all the personal identifiable information in persons and sales. Now, what we can do is we can download the report, and the report will provide us all information found here from the database instance. This report can be used further. Okay? So this way, Data Sunrise includes multiple features that work together to provide you with DSAR feature included in the product. Thank you for watching.